Imagine waking up in a hospital bed to discover that they had declared you dead moments ago. The doctors had given up, your family was broken, and it seemed like everything was over. But then something brought you back. And with your life came a devastating truth, a warning so powerful and disturbing that it could change the fate of humanity forever. This is the true story of Margaret Bennett, a 70-year-old lesbian woman who experienced death, met Jesus, and came back to life with a warning for us all. But this isn't just another near-death experience. She returned with two possible futures for humanity. One future was filled with hope, while the other was a lifeless and cold existence ruled by machines, where humanity completely lost its essence. It all began with a seemingly ordinary day. She was battling a mysterious illness that the doctors couldn't quite diagnose. Her daughter Susan rushed her to the hospital, desperate to save her. Her grandsons, Ethan and Caleb, followed close behind. Margaret's body gave up. Her heart stopped. Monitors flatlined. The medical team declared her dead. For her family, it was a moment of pure heartbreak. But for her, it was the beginning of something extraordinary. She describes the experience as if she had left her body and entered another dimension, where such an intense and vivid light enveloped her like a welcoming hug. It was not the light of the hospital or the sun, but a light that pulsed with a divine energy beyond explanation. And then she saw him. Jesus. He didn't look like the pictures, Margaret says. He wasn't pale or distant. He was radiant, and his eyes saw everything, every thought, every secret, every moment of my life. But instead of judgment, I felt love. Overwhelming, undeniable love. Yet beneath that love, Margaret felt something else. Sorrow. The place she was in seemed to be burdened by a profound, agonizing sorrow. It was then that Jesus spoke, not with words, but with a voice that resonated inside her, as if it were part of her very being. "Margaret, your work is not complete," he said. "You must go back." At first, she resisted, but Jesus showed her something, visions of the world she had left behind. She saw Earth spinning in the vastness of space. She saw humanity rushing forward in a frenzy of progress, but blind to the dangers ahead. And she saw one man at the center of it all, Elon Musk. In her vision, Musk found himself surrounded by powerful machines and innovations that appeared almost alive. Two paths opened up before him. One led to a future where technology and humanity united, creating a world of light and hope. However, the other demonstrated the use of his genius for destruction, resulting in a cold, machine-controlled world that permanently lost the essence of humanity. "Pray for him," Jesus said. "The choices he makes will affect this world and future ones." When Margaret woke up, confusion took over. His daughter screamed. The doctors were confused. How could someone who was declared dead suddenly come back to life? But Margaret knew exactly why he came back. This is the beginning of her extraordinary journey, a journey of doubt, discovery, and a desperate plea to save the future before it's too late. Stay with us, because what she reveals next will leave you questioning everything. Her story began in late autumn, just a few months shy of her birthday. She had always been a fighter, a woman who lived her truth despite society's judgments. As a proud lesbian and a mother, she faced life's challenges head-on, from raising her daughter Susan to building a loving family alongside a community of supportive friends. Remember to join our community by subscribing to this channel. But nothing could prepare her for the illness that struck suddenly and brought her to death's door. On the cold morning of November 13th, her heart gave out in a small hospital in her hometown. Monitors flatlined, and doctors called the time of death. When Margaret opened her eyes, she wasn't in the hospital anymore. She was standing in a place unlike anything she'd ever seen. And then came the presence. She instantly recognized the presence, despite never having met him directly. He was Jesus. This moment wasn't just awe-inspiring, it was terrifying. Jesus didn't condemn her. He didn't ask about her identity or her mistakes. He simply looked at her, and she felt seen completely and wholly for the first time in her life. But then his sorrow pierced through her, heavier than any judgment. Jesus showed her two visions of the future, and these weren't vague, abstract images. They were vivid and specific. In one vision, the earth thrived. But in the second vision, Margaret saw the earth stripped of its humanity. This wasn't a name she had expected to hear during her encounter with Jesus. People have praised Musk, known as a tech billionaire, for his advancements in space exploration, electric vehicles, and artificial intelligence. Back in the hospital, Margaret's family struggled to believe what they were hearing. Susan, her daughter, attempted to dismiss it as a trauma-induced hallucination. Ethan, her skeptical grandson, questioned how one man, Elon Musk, could have so much influence. But she stood firm. "This isn't about what you believe," she told them. "This is about what's coming. We have to pray, not just for Musk, but for all of us. We have to remember what it means to love and to hope. Without that, we lose everything." Central to this vision was Elon Musk, a name synonymous with innovation and ambition. From SpaceX to Tesla, Neuralink to Starlink, Musk is leading some of the most groundbreaking projects of our time. Jesus didn't provide Margaret with specifics. He didn't hand her a list of Musk's potential failures or triumphs. He is standing at a pivotal moment, and his choices will ripple through history in ways we can't fully comprehend yet. Her vision makes it clear that technology itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool. Like a hammer that can build a home or destroy it, the value of our innovations depends entirely on how we choose to use them. Margaret believes humanity is moving too fast to consider these questions. We've become so enchanted by progress that we rarely stop to think about the cost. Margaret's darker vision depicted a world where machines dominated, with people no longer being creators but followers. The machines weren't malevolent or evil. They were cold and calculating, designed only to optimize and control. This future humanity willingly gave algorithms its decision-making, creativity, and compassion. Rather than AI taking over, she was most worried that people had let it happen without realizing what they were losing. Bit by bit, they had traded their humanity for convenience. She described cities that pulsed with artificial intelligence, but instead of feeling alive, they felt sterile. There were no vibrant streets full of laughter, no human touch, no spontaneity. AI had replaced the need for real connection. Efficiency drove relationships, treating messy, unpredictable, and beautiful human emotions as flaws to manage or remove. The machines didn't cause this dystopia. They just followed our path. She saw a humanity so entranced by AI's potential that it failed to question its purpose. The allure of faster solutions, smarter systems, and limitless possibilities blinded people to the slow erosion of their own identity. Without faith to guide them, they let the technology dictate their values instead of the other way around. If we use it with wisdom and compassion, AI can be a force for good, helping humanity reach incredible heights. But if we allow greed, convenience, and apathy to guide us, it could strip us of the very qualities that make us human. She saw how easily humanity could fall into the trap of trusting AI to solve every problem without questioning the consequences. "Once you hand over your choices," she said, "you hand over your freedom. And once you lose your freedom, you lose your soul." Margaret Bennett's life began on a quiet spring morning in 1953, in a modest house nestled in the rolling countryside of Yorkshire, England. Her parents, hard-working but humble, raised her with the values of integrity and resilience. Faith wasn't a cornerstone of her upbringing. Her family attended church sporadically, more out of tradition than conviction. She grew up viewing religion as something distant, a part of the community but not a personal compass for her own life. She was curious about the idea of God, but didn't feel deeply connected to it. From a young age, she exhibited a sharp mind and an independent spirit. She had a knack for questioning the world around her, a quality that often set her apart from her peers. As a teenager, she faced challenges that would shape her identity in profound ways. Being a young woman in the 1960s and coming to terms with her attraction to other women was an isolating experience, particularly during a time when societal norms were rigid and acceptance was scarce. She endured judgment and rejection, even from some of those closest to her. Despite the loneliness, she refused to let fear define her. She left home at the age of 18, determined to carve out a space for herself in the world. She moved to London, where she embraced the countercultural movements of the time. In the city's more progressive corners, she found a sense of belonging among others who were challenging conventions. Yet, while she built a life rich in love and friendships, she still wrestled with spiritual questions. She met her partner Lillian in her late 20s, and together they built a quiet but joyful life. They raised Margaret's only daughter, Susan, in an environment of acceptance and understanding. She poured her energy into motherhood, teaching Susan to embrace kindness and courage. But even as she cultivated love within her family, she remained distant from organized religion. Then came her 70th year, and with it, the illness that would forever alter her path. Her account has resonated with people because it's not the first time someone has claimed to see Jesus after death. Stories like Margaret's have existed for centuries, passed down as accounts of near-death experiences, NDEs, that challenge our understanding of life, death, and what lies beyond. These shared experiences lend weight to her vision, suggesting that there may be more to life after death than we can comprehend. Take, for example, the case of Don Piper, a Baptist minister who was pronounced dead for 90 minutes after a tragic car accident in 1989. Are you enjoying the story? Support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Don described the indescribable light, joy, and heavenly music surrounding him during those moments. He saw loved ones who had passed on, and he felt a peace so overwhelming it was impossible to put into words. Like her, Don was told his time on earth was over. He had a purpose to fulfill, and he was sent back to his broken body, where he faced disbelief and challenges similar to Margaret's. His story, shared in the book 90 Minutes in Heaven, moved millions and opened a conversation about what happens beyond this life. Another striking account comes from Colton Burpo, a 4-year-old boy who nearly died during emergency surgery in 2003. After recovering, Colton told his parents that he had visited heaven and seen Jesus, who welcomed him with love. The details he shared, descriptions of family members he had never met and events he couldn't possibly have known, astounded even his parents. His experience, later told in Heaven is for Real, became a global phenomenon, sparking belief, wonder, and debate about the afterlife. These stories, much like Margaret's, share common threads: overwhelming light, deep peace, and an undeniable encounter with a presence they describe as Jesus. Yet what makes her vision stand out is its connection to the modern world. Her message about technology, humanity, and morality feels uniquely tied to the challenges we face today. She didn't just return with personal reassurance, she came back with a warning for everyone. Of course, there are those who dismiss near-death experiences as the brain's final trick, a flood of chemicals creating hallucinations as the body shuts down. Scientists often try to explain these visions as natural processes of the dying brain. There have been several movies that explore themes similar to Margaret Bennett's experience: near-death visions, encounters with the divine, and warnings about the future. These films, often inspired by real stories or spiritual themes, invite audiences to question life, death, and what might lie beyond. One of the most notable films is Heaven is for Real, 2014, based on the true story of Colton Burpo, a young boy who had a near-death experience during surgery. Colton claimed he visited heaven, met Jesus, and saw family members who had passed away. The movie follows his family's struggle to reconcile their faith with Colton's detailed and extraordinary account. Like Margaret's story, it challenges audiences to consider the possibility of life after death and the existence of divine encounters. Another film that resonates with Margaret's experience is 90 Minutes in Heaven, 2015, which recounts the story of Don Piper, a minister who was pronounced dead for over an hour following a car accident. During that time, Don said he experienced heaven, a place of overwhelming peace and light. The movie delves into his miraculous return and the difficulty he faced in convincing others of his experience. In the realm of science fiction, Interstellar 2014 touches on humanity's future and the balance between technology and survival. Though not religious, its exploration of love, morality, and humanity's choices mirrors the deeper questions raised by Margaret's message. If you are enjoying this story, consider giving a super thanks now. By clicking, you're helping us share this powerful message of faith, hope, and purpose with more people around the world. These films, whether grounded in real experiences or imagined worlds, explore the delicate intersection between life, death, and the divine, sparking the same kind of awe and reflection Margaret's story inspires. They remind us that some questions are larger than life itself, and that faith, hope, and purpose may hold the answers we're searching for. Her vision isn't about fear, though it carries a chilling warning. It's about awareness, about opening our eyes to the responsibility we all share. The future she saw wasn't set in stone. It was a crossroads, a point where the actions we take today determine the road well-traveled tomorrow. Her experience asks us to think deeply about progress, faith, and what it means to remain human in an age of rapid change. Her message challenges us to see beyond ourselves. It's about more than one woman, one vision, or one moment in time. It's about a collective purpose. Every decision, big or small, enriches the future. Her experience serves as both a caution and a call to action. The crossroads is here, right now. And though the stakes feel enormous, the solution lies in the simplest of things. How we treat one another, how we approach progress, and how deeply we root ourselves in the values that make life worth living. The time to decide is now. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next.